With me, Congressman André Carson, Democrat from the great state of Indiana, who serves on the House Intelligence Committee. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Just to follow up when I was speaking with Chris Jansen at the White House, Sean Spicer says it was legal what General Flynn was doing during the campaign as he's advising the campaign, getting money from the on this as a foreign representative for Turkey. But where's the judgment? Where's the line for judgment?
Well, I think the judgment is very poor. I mean, it's consistent with the statements he has made about Muslims, which have concerned me as a general, someone who should have a worldview that is pretty universal. He seems to enjoy dividing people by religion.
But does that mean, I don't even speak his judgment. I got it what he did. I mean, he had this fiery speech. He's saying lock her up at the convention, and then like 2 weeks later, he gets hired to do to represent Turkey as a foreign agent. But the judgment in hiring him, and the fact that they knew that he was doing this, and they said their judgment was enough to tell him, go file your papers.
I think it's unacceptable. I think that you have an administration that has focused on Hillary Clinton and tried to frame her to be this unethical person, but the unethical questions are growing more and more around Donald Trump and his cronies. All
right, there's a lot of, let me turn now to the whole issue of the investigation. There's this letter now that has gone from the House Intel Committee over to DOJ and FBI. You want information, what are you looking for?
Well, I think we clearly want to see the actors that were involved who are currently in administration, who around Trump's campaign apparatus, Paul Manafort and others, who had regular contact with the Russian government, and were they trying to do a pay-for-play in the event that Donald Trump becomes president? Were they promised anything, and what kinds of promises were made, and what kind of wheeling and dealing and trades were offered during that exchange?
All right, this is the most letter-writing sitting, I think, in the whole world.
Sure.
I mean, because all these letters are always going over from whether it was to from the Capitol Hill to the Obama administration. Now you've got it from Capitol Hill to the Trump administration. Nobody ever gets answers. You never get responses to these letters. You really think by March 13 you'll get an answer?
Well, that's not wholly true. I mean, smart bureaucrats answer letters, especially to the Intel community.
Do you expect to get one by March 13th on this?
Oh, sure. We hope so. Absolutely.
And then what do you do?
Well, we have a major hearing on the 20th, as you know. The great thing about the intelligence community is that it is one of the most bipartisan committees in Congress, next to armed services, or probably in front of armed services, which I serve on as well. I think it's clear that this hearing on the 20th will allow us to unearth certain truths from those intelligence heads who served under President Obama, for us to see the growing influence of Russia and her tactics to get a foothold in other nations, and have they used those tactics to not only influence our elections but to influence our elected officials.
I don't know if you've noticed, but we got a pretty divided nation right now. I mean,
we're divided, okay. But there's a silver lining, though.
Okay, but let me ask you this:
across the country.
In light of the fact that we're so divided, your hearing, do you expect your hearing on the 20th to be out in public? Because I think if you don't put this all in public, the American people are going to be suspicious, more suspicious than they already are.
I'm hopeful that there will be a series of hearings this year and next year with heads of the IC, the intelligence community, with former heads of the intelligence community, that will be pronounced and will give some of the American people comfort that they deserve.
But people, I think unless it's out in the open, they're not going to think it's fair. Whether you're for Trump, against Trump, or whatever it is, unless it's out in the open so they can see it for themselves.
Well, I think there's truth there, but I also think the American people are smart enough to understand that there is a lot of sensitive information that we deal with that keeps Americans safe, that keeps our country safe, that keeps our troops safe overseas, that we simply cannot release to the public. People understand that. And as a former police officer, I can certainly appreciate it.
Congressman, nice to see you, sir.
Always an honor. Thank you.